Hi, everybody. Welcome to my Instagram Live with Tiffany Shlain, who is the author of 24/6. And it has a new subtitle, which I'm going to let her tell you because I printed it out and the book cover is downstairs. So I can't read you the book cover yet, but Tiffany's going to join and hopefully she'll find me very soon. Her book is great. It came out a while ago, probably a year and a half ago, and the paperback just came out. I love this book because she talks all about how one day a week she stops using all devices and has a tech Shabbat for her family and how much that has helped her. So I thought this was really an ingenious way to reclaim some time and sanity. And Tiffany is just an amazing creator, director, filmmaker in her own right, and brings that unique viewpoint to all of her discussions. So hopefully she'll do that today. And she's just generally an awesome woman, somebody who can like wear a hat and pull it off no matter what, which is a skill I long for, I guess. Anyway, it's nice to see those of you who are here. And I'm looking forward to interviewing Tiffany. And she says she hasn't. Oh, hey, Claire. Tiffany says she hasn't done this. There we go. Hold on. Let me ask Tiffany to join. Hold on one second. I'm waving at her and view request. Okay, so hopefully this works. Now it just says waiting. I'm now literally waving at Claire. But anyway, hi.
Hi. I was just thinking, not moms don't have time to shower. Like literally, it's the day of my publication launch, and I just finally showered. I know you can relate to that.
I have to tell you, I actually woke up early today. I mean, not early on purpose, early with the kids, and decided to take the time to wash and blow dry my hair. And then I had to go out and walk the dog, and it was like raining and disgusting in the park. And I had to come home, and my hair was like this, and I had to change my clothes. And I was so annoyed that like I wasted all that time today when normally I would just throw my hair in a ponytail. But anyway, so
It looks good. Well, let me tell you, I'm like, it's so interesting because it's a publication. It's, the pub date for the paperback. And of course, for the hardcover, I was in New York. There was a 92nd Street Y event, and I was stressed, and it was exciting. And this is like a whole different kind of stress. So I'm just like in my chair. And there's a big event tonight with Ariana Huffington, but I'm like trying to get this newsletter out, which I know you can also relate to, and it's not out yet. So I'm just having one of those days, but I'm so happy to see you because I feel like you've been on this journey with me. I guess I feel very connected in your trajectory, and you've got so much going on now, and you're such a great supporter of authors, and it's good to see you.
it's good to see you too. I know. I feel like it's like a sanity check. This is how it's like. These Instagram lives are my secret way to just like reconnect with people I really like, because I don't go out to coffee with friends. I don't like see anybody. But I feel like I have a little mini, revolving door of little.
I love, that's a good way to think about it. I do feel that way. I mean, or even having these kind of conversations is that, as a working mother, we're also distracted so much of the time, but to have these kind of focused conversations is such a gift. I mean, I felt that way on your podcast too. It's just like, I have an hour to talk deeply with Zibby. How incredible is that? So that's the gift through it all.
I think now it's more like 30 minutes, but yes, it's like 30 minutes uninterrupted time where I don't like check my email, and I feel like I am absolved from having to accomplish anything other than what I'm doing. And that's like rare in these times. So
did you change from an hour to a half an hour, or has it always been a half an hour?
The recording has always been half an hour, but it used to be that people would come over and we could chat and have.
I remember I would sit in your beautiful library and we schmoozed and
and then I would record.
So now
that's some more. And now it's like, all right, we're on Zoom, blah, 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 which is good because I can like fit more in a day. But you lose. I would far rather have life back. So.
Well, I think that's been the biggest thing is like we lose all the in-between time that we would normally get to process or look forward to an event or just have that transition time to think about what just happened before you go into the next thing. And now with Zoom, we've lost so much of that in-between space.
Yes, chit chat.
Yes.
It's like the chit chat. It's like the, schmoozing.
Yeah.
Wait, so tell me your new subtitle again. I know you keep sending it to me and I keep getting it wrong. So tell me your new.
I'm still also getting I really like it. It's So it used to be the power of unplugging one day a week, 24/6. The power. This is it. I haven't even. I'm going today to see the paperback for the first time at the bookstore, but this was the original,
Oh my
and
gosh.
I really liked the power of unplugging one day a week because to me, so much. I think I've talked about with you is that I'm Jewish. I'm not religious, but there is, and maybe I did Shabbat candles or challah, whatever. But this ancient wisdom of Shabbat is a whole day off, and so I think that I liked the subtitle being the power of unplugging one day a week. You're going to get immense power and creativity and connection and productivity back. So then the new subtitle is giving up screens one day a week to get back time, creativity, and connection. So baked into the subtitle now is all the things you get back. So I'm excited. And, this is my first book. I'm a filmmaker and just learning about the paperback reaching a whole new audience. This has been very exciting. I mean, the hardcover, it's gotten on bestseller lists and it's reached so many people, but I heard there's some people that never buy a hardcover. They only buy a paperback. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a whole new audience. That's so exciting to me that, and it's interesting. I guess there's certain, but no, you buy hardcovers.
I buy hardcovers. But I will tell you that my old English teacher wrote a book, and this was soon after high school, maybe like 5 to 7 years after high school. So 3 of my girlfriends and I went to his book reading, I think on the Upper West Side somewhere. I'm probably getting all these things wrong. I remember things clearly. Turns out the memories are completely false. But I do remember going to his book reading, and I bought his book, and our other friend bought the book, and this third friend of mine went up to him and said, "Great job, but I'm going to wait for the paperback." And I was like, how can you just stay?
Why would you do
that? Anyway, I was mortified on her behalf and his behalf, and it was so awkward. And I reminded her of this story recently, and she was sort of mortified by her own self. So yes,
so interesting. Yeah, I'll wait till it's on VOD, like the equivalent for a filmmaker. Like instead of it being in the theater, like I always think of books in terms of my filmmaker releases. So if I had a film in movie theaters and somebody's like, "Oh, I'll wait till that's on demand," that's the equivalent.
Exactly. I'll wait to go to Blockbuster and tell me a little, I don't know that much about paperback marketing. So you have the opportunity to rebrand a little bit. And then what do you do in terms of like distribution? Do all the people who stock your first book take your second book?
Yes. I'm so glad you're asking me because like I was hoping I could ask you.
Oh no.
Well, no, but it's fun for me because, I'm 50 and I'm learning so much about a whole new industry this last 3 years with writing the book, the hardcover, the paperback coming out. So I'm kind of excited. I feel like, it is interesting. So you can redo a subtitle. So exciting. We, I got to in January, which is funny, it was before the pandemic, but kind of do little updates in various places. And then, yeah, it supposedly really reaches a whole new audience, and all the people that bought your book before will get it out there. But, the pandemic living, it's such an interesting time. I mean, for the hardcover, I went to New York and Toronto and LA and did all these book events. Now I'm just doing a couple choice ones like you, and I'm doing one tonight with Ariana Huffington. I'm doing one with Angela Duckworth at 6th and I in DC. But I'm kind of curious what it's going to look like. I'm I'm intrigued because you've got the pandemic element, which adds a new component. I mean, people are reading so much right now, and I think people are really struggling with screens. And I just posted on my Instagram this morning this 1-minute book trailer for the book, and I really highlighted how in the pandemic these tech Shabbats, where we turn off screens one day a week and have for almost 11 years now, are that much more important, like 10 times more important now during the pandemic, because just like we were talking about earlier, we're having to be on screens for so many more things that I literally rush towards this time when I can turn it all off like you don't even know. I mean, even like this week, I have such a busy week, the paperback out today, and then I have been working really hard on a film for the election. And I have so much to do. You would think I would have worked through the weekend, but no, I knew that if I took a true day off doing nothing and lounging with my kids and napping and turning off the news and all the stress, that I would be so much better for this week. So the book trailer really goes into how much the pandemic has really made even more crystal clear how we have to create some boundaries, or else we're just doom scrolling and we're optimizing every second, and there's no boundaries in our lives anymore.
Yeah, I have no boundaries in my life, pretty much. Um,
Pretty much.
pretty much from the morning I wake up to the moment I wake up till I go to bed. It's I'm checking or I'm doing something and I'm trying to be
Do you
productive
ever,
at the time. I mean,
well,
not
but
to
you
say
said
that.
when you do the podcast, when you
What's
do the
that? Oh,
podcast,
go ahead.
when you do the podcast, you're focused. But I guess what I would say to you is there's so much research um, that talks about, you know, how you have your best ideas when you're in the shower or you're taking a walk or you're doing the dishes. It's because you have no new input coming in and you're kind of
Yep.
processing all the ideas that are already in there. And I'm a big journal writer. And after now almost 11 years of doing this practice with my kids and my husband, all my best ideas come on Saturday because I feel like there's a white blank page to use, writing to think about it. The ideas tumble out of me on Saturday. I mean, literally all my good ideas for films or anything is on Saturday. So I think, wow, it's because there's no new input. And we're optimizing every second of every single day with Zooms and podcasts and so much that we have to think that we're not letting the magic of our brains happen, which is in neuroscience, it's called the default mode network. And it really is allowing all that you have in there that you've taken in to just like do its thing and make new connections.
Interesting.
That's my case to try to get you to do it.
Well, I'm not saying that like every moment is on a screen, but like you said, the podcast, like now that's on a screen, right? And
Yeah.
and with my kids, helping them with class, like that's on a screen in the afternoons. And then like, I don't know, there's just, now I'm going to this event. I would have gone to the event, but I'm watching the event tonight.
Yeah.
So anyway, I actually was thinking about you a lot.
Oh my God, did you hear all that fall?
Yeah, what was that?
I have to kind of show you this very wobbly setup. Can I just show you?
Yeah,
okay.
please.
Look I have this contraption because I gave a big talk yesterday and I decided to give the talk standing because we're seated so much of the time. So I decided to like try to create my space so I could stand and give this talk over all these books. And it's very wobbly. I need a better tripod. And it's very funny because I'm a filmmaker. You would think I just have a good tripod. But here's my other thought lately is that, you know how like in author interviews, they're like, what books are on your book stand? Now I think it should be like, what books do you have piled up to hold your laptop?
My laptop is on, I can tell you my books. I have 3 table books under here. I can show you. Yeah, but then we would be at a different height. Biblio style. I tried to make them all book related.
Good.
Yeah, for the love of books. Here, I can't even pick the other one because it's too heavy.
Ooh,
yeah, so this is under my laptop. But that is so funny. I should start asking everybody that myself.
I know, because it's like it is a funny combination. Like when I do my Zoom holobake, which I've been doing, I have the funniest combinations that are big enough because I need like big, sturdy art books. But it's very funny to see what that combination is because it's about width and depth.
Going on? Is it still? Are you still doing that?
We're doing it now once a month. I mean, at the beginning of the pandemic, we were doing it every single week, and it was amazing and therapeutic. And but it happens on, and we get hundreds of people. I had special guests. I mean, I think you kind of ran into this too at the beginning of the pandemic. You wanted to give back and community and all of this stuff, and then there was a certain point where I was like, oh my God, I have no time for anything else, and I'm not making movies, which is what I do. And so then we moved it to monthly, and we were trying to finish, which we're going to release in the next week, our 2-minute film to inspire people to vote for the election, which comes out. And anybody that's listening, you can just go to like TiffanyShlain.com to find out more about the Zoom holobake or the film or the book. But the Zoom holobakes have been so great. We cut together this like short highlight trailer of, I mean, it's so much fun. But I just, Fridays really are my day to kind of slow down. And like, I know I'm going to turn off all my screens. So I do a little prep for that. And I normally have Fridays as more of a shutting down the week. But doing the Zoom holobakes is like this full production in my kitchen with my family, which is also fun, but just once a month now. So the next one is probably going to be right after the election so we can process that and knead dough, because very therapeutic to knead as you're processing.
I should say got back into making challah as if like, in previous years I was
You were a baker.
Yeah, I had actually never really baked challah, I don't think. And Beth Riccanati was on my podcast, who wrote a whole book about baking challah and how it addressed her needs. And during the pandemic, it was like, Oh my gosh, there's like the showdown going on, I think, between different challah baking Zoom classes. Do I go to Beth Ricconati's? Do I go to Tiffany Shlain's? Do I not?
It's so funny. Well, the funny thing is that, like, I'm not, the only thing I make really well is challah, and it's the one recipe in my book is the challah because we make it Friday. And it's funny because there's all these chefs, and actually I had a lot of the chefs on, and I learned a lot, and my chalah's gotten a lot better since I started doing them. But it was funny. Somebody's like, right before the pandemic, I had this show at MoMA called Dear Human, and based on the book, and that's what I thought I was going to be doing for the next 2 years, is kind of going around with the show in theaters. And then the pandemic happened, and suddenly I was doing a baking show. So people would be like, what are you up to? I'm like, I know this is going to sound really weird, but I only really cook one thing really well, but I have a baking show on Zoom. Totally crazy. But, it's fun because the book, obviously it was relevant before because everyone felt like they were on screens. But then with the pandemic, people are so overwhelmed and burnt out and depleted from being on screen. So it's been exciting. Like, we're working with 100 families right now that are all doing 4 weeks in a row of tech Shabbats, because, so much about rituals is really putting it on your schedule 4 weeks in a row and kind of baking it into your life. And it's been so interesting because I think everyone's craving and seeing the value of ritual and how much good, how the power of really ritual and cooking. And of course we were cooking a little too much. I kind of pulled back. I was like cooking every meal for a while, and I'm like, I don't have enough time to do anything else. Where's takeout? Where's Trader Joe's? And it's very funny how we've been through this Corona coaster of, like, and now the election, which I feel like is this big collective zit we're about to pop because it's been so stressful. And I'm really hoping that I can be political here. I'm really hoping Trump gets out of office. And
Back to the baking and the eating and everything.
Sorry.
I recently started Moms Don't Have Time to Lose Weight because I realized
I saw that. Tell me.
Like, through all the baked goods, which is like what sustained me for months on end. And I came back to New York after being away for 6 months, and like I couldn't even like get my leg into a pair of pants, and I'm like, oh, like my pajamas didn't even fit me, and I was like, this is like
the drawstring was too tight.
Yeah, they're like too tight. I was like, I can't even wear these to like my kids' room next door. So anyway, like I have to do something. Anyway, so that's how I ended up starting this whole thing. So now this
how
is
like, that going? Tell me how it's going.
My group has lost 100 pounds in 3 weeks. I'm
That's
really
amazing.
excited about it. I'm like so excited. But anyway, I only bring it up to say, like, this whole, as you said, the Corona coaster, this is now like, I think I'm not the only one who realized that had happened during the pandemic. And now it's like, okay, wait, I can't keep this up for another, 2 years? I
know, it's not sustainable. I agree. There was a certain point. I mean, at the beginning of the pandemic, I'm like, I'm eating any carb I want. I'm cooking whatever. And then there was a certain point I was like, Tiffany, that's enough. I also like you. And then, I mean, it's interesting because we got a puppy, which, my husband and I traveled so much before, we never could have gotten a puppy. So we got a pandemic puppy. And
oh, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Now I can.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Sorry. Yeah.
It's because
sorry, just
so many things buzzing on my phone. Anyways. But now I'm taking a lot more walks because she needs a walk like 3 times a day. And I'm like, okay, this is moving my body. So any of you thinking about getting a puppy, highly recommend it. It's a lot of work, but a lot of love. And it's been really great on how much more everyone in my family is walking because of the puppy.
We have the exact same thing. We inherited Kyle's mom's dogs after.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Anyway, but Naya at the lab has like become our dog, and then Luna the other has become his sister Stephanie's dog. But we're still all living together, so they're in the. Anyway, like these walks with the dog, I'm like, I don't think I would have been in Central Park at all, and now I'm like 3 times a day, like traversing, seeing.
I know. I mean,
it's crazy.
It's amazing, and it's so good for you. I mean, I just feel like she really needs to walk around 10:30, and that's normally like my peak writing time. But I go, no, I'm going to take her for a walk. And I, go out, fresh air. And suddenly I'm like, feels like more expansive. Yeah. I'm not staring at a screen. And it just feels so much better. Like everyone, a lot of times now I'm doing, I'm saying, do we really have to do a Zoom, or can we do a call and we both take a walk? Because it was just like out of hand. And, I tend to think better on a walk. So if it's a talk that needs to be about something you're working on or ideas, I'm like, do we really need to be looking at each other's faces? Actually, my one big insight, which I'm going to throw out to all of you, which was a great epiphany halfway through the Zoom, is like, it is actually not natural that we're having a conversation and I'm also seeing my face. That's not how a conversation works. And on Zoom, you're also staring at your face as you're having a conversation with someone else. Now, when you're having a conversation with somebody else, you're just seeing them. So next to your little Zoom box are 3 dots. And most people don't know this, but if you pull it down, it says hide self view.
No way.
I cannot tell you how friggin' liberating that is to turn your face off. And then suddenly you're in a conversation and you're not like, do I have a double chin?
I'm trying to find the button. We're not even on Zoom. We're on Instagram Live.
I promise you, this was such a game changer in the way well, I mean, first of all, for a couple seconds, you're like, so look, okay, is my hair, is my shirt okay? Then turn it off and you will have such a better conversation because you're not being self-conscious of like, what do I look like? I mean, it's an amazing thing how unnatural it is to see yourself speaking when you're speaking to someone else.
Yes.
Zibby, I'll totally, after this, I'm happy to walk you through it.
Now that I know how to find it, I will try. I always make it like really small. If it's 2 of us, I have like speaker view.
No, this will free you up. It'll free your brain. I mean, I think a lot of what I talk about in the book, which is just like what I'm talking about now, is when does technology amplify who we are? Like, of course, like you have such a great community on Instagram and you can amplify all these author voices. That's the best part of it. Or like I have a film coming out next week, I can amplify. And then also, when does it amputate the experience? Ooh. And when I'm having a meal with someone, I don't want their phones out. I don't want to see their phones. You know, there's research I put in the book that just having a phone off on the table or on the desk, you will be less focused. So any of you listening, when you're working, put your phone in a drawer, or do people even have purses anymore? I don't know, zip it up, because you will think better. And so the book, I'm really, you know, though we turn them off 1 complete day every week, for our Shabbat, which is amazing. But during the week, I do all these other interventions on how do I use technology to amplify and not kind of amputate and diminish my experiences.
Well, your advice in the book and on this call could not be more timely and I'm sure needed and appreciated by everybody out there and their families who are trying so hard to get their attention. So that's awesome. Will you hold the book up again? Show everybody.
Yes. Okay, it's funny. It's not the paperback. So I'm going to, right after I hang up with you, I'm going to Book Passage, my favorite indie bookstore, and they have a pile of 50 books for me to sign. I haven't even seen the paperback. This is the hardcover, but don't look at it too quickly because it's the old tagline. But
it's the same, like
okay, I'm just putting the title.
Yeah. Perfect.
And today it's publication date. Woohoo! Zibby, it's so good to see you.
You too. That was so fun. And thank you for letting me be a part of your day. And I'm really excited for the paperback. And you'll have to give me like a little, you know, synopsis once you go through the whole.
Yeah, I think I'll be able to answer that question a little better of what the paperback, because this is my first book. So it's like in like 3 or 4 months, I'll teach you everything I've learned from the paperback, because I think also in just the pandemic world, it's also different right now releasing a book. So it's an adventure.
I won't call you on Saturday and you don't have to see my again. It's okay.
Oh, so great talking to you. Have a wonderful day in New York.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.